Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going In Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going In Raw. We also offer the Steven Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson to sign up. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Al Larson.
And welcome to the Steven Larson Pro Wrestling Podcast, ruining pro wrestling podcasting since 2014. On today's episode, we got lowdown on last night's Monday Night Raw in advance of Backlash coming up this weekend. Of course, we'll be doing our live watch-along here on the YouTube and also at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Immediately following that, we'll be doing our review of the show, so be sure to check that out. Our predictions for Backlash will be going up later on today over at our sister channel, youtube.com/Friendo Club TV. I think is the actual URL, or it's Friendo Club. I don't know what it is.
Let's search up Friendo Club Wrestling. It'll pop up.
It'll pop up. It'll be there. Anyways, what do you think of Raw last night, man? I thought, boy, SmackDown needs to start bringing that kind of heat because I thought Raw was pretty good.
There's just a different energy to Raw, and I can't really put my finger on
what it is.
There is
energy on Raw.
Yeah, I guess that is. There is energy.
Yeah.
Like, SmackDown is generally a pretty listless show.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens.
Are they just waiting until, they're like the rest of us, they're just waiting to get back to 2 hours?
I mean, maybe that's the case, but, like, I don't know, that's still, like, months ahead.
Mm-hmm. Is it? I thought it was supposed to be June. Well, you said the rumor you started.
Oh, that's right. June is next month. Yeah, no, it's right from Triple H. I sent you a link in an email with the subject to say email link to prove I'm right.
Email? I don't know anything about that. I don't know.
Anyways, maybe that's the case, but like all year, basically, it's like, all right, SmackDown, I'll just wait and get back to 2 hours. But here's the thing. I don't necessarily feel like the energy of SmackDown is going to be different. It'll just be shorter.
Hey, I'll take it.
I'll take it too.
Less of a crappy thing, but I like what we're doing with Raw these days. I really liked the episode because we had kind of a through line. You set something up in the beginning, something that was kind of a sort of Jey Uso shows up, and you think that we're gonna have to deal with the Logan Paul stuff. I mean, this is great. The Logan Paul stuff they kept off television because it happened after camera stopped rolling, and so you think you're going one way. And then, Paul Heyman come out with a really great promo where he basically has a breakdown in the ring talking about how am I the bad guy given everything that's happened to me. Jey Uso's like, all right, well, what does this have to do with me? Why are you out here? And so Paul Heyman lets it be known that Seth Rollins is going to be targeting that world championship. Jey Uso says anytime, anywhere. How about tonight? Paul Heyman says, yeah, let's do it. And so that set up the main event for the night. And along the way, you had a couple segments where, the tension starts to increase. And then, of course, you have one of those fun overbooked finishes there for the title match, setting up Punk versus Rollins because CM Punk made his big return. I like when they have something that feels big and big stakes.
Yeah,
and you you get that finish in the end. It's good stuff.
I thought about this. This is an aside, and this is a silly pro wrestling thing, but it always happens. CM Punk comes back looking for his pound of flesh from Seth Rollins. Why does he wait till after so many near falls where the match could have very well ended to come out and hit him with the chair?
Because it's exactly what you said. It's one of them pro wrestling things. It's like when it's back in the NWO days when somebody would turn and join the NWO. Usually it's like after a match where they got the shit beat out of them.
Yeah.
Kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, it's like I always think that too. It's like, why is it this match probably could have been over with like a while ago? And this guy is just coming out. I don't know. It's a pro wrestling thing.
It is a pro wrestling thing, but it's one of those in a match, especially like Jay and Seth's match, which was really good. Kicking out of finishers, tons of false finishes. Some actually really well done twists and turns with Sammy coming out. You think, oh, all right, that's the match to be over. No, there's more. Sammy with the rib tape. Always pop for some rib tape. But yeah, in the end, CM Punk comes out with the chair, blasts Seth with it. Match is thrown out. So you got to think they're going to be continuing feuding through the summer, maybe culminating at SummerSlam, thus keeping Seth out of the title picture till that feud is over.
Do you think, well, let me ask you this, because that is a ways off. And there's quite a few events between now and then. I mean, you got Money in the Bank, which could be involved in this or not.
Yeah. And you got at least one Saturday night's main event.
It's got to be. You got two between now and SummerSlam.
Yeah, and there's got to be at least one more pay-per-view between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam too.
Yeah. So, do you think this is going to be a feud that keeps Seth away from the top? I think it's probably going to be a feud that gets resolved. And then Seth gets the title at SummerSlam. Seth is getting that title. He's going to be the guy that dethrones Jey Uso.
Yeah.
And I feel like Triple H might have looked at the template from last year and said, okay, we had a title change for the world title at WrestleMania. WrestleMania to SummerSlam is a decent enough chunk of time to have that world title on a guy like Jey Uso, similar to Damian Priest, who lost his at SummerSlam as well, and give Jay plenty enough time to rack up some wins against some opponents. So I kind of feel like the Punk Seth thing will probably be resolved by,
That's possible.
by, early August anyways.
Because you got to think that if Seth then wins the title, he'll have that for the remainder of the year, maybe heading into Mania next year where he'll face Punk for that title, and then Punk will beat him for it.
That's a possibility. Sure. Because you also have, I'll put it this way. I would be surprised if they elected not to run Cena Punk while Cena's in his last year. So you got to think that, look, I don't know how many matches Punk is going to be involved in this year, but you got to think that, obviously there's going to be another Punk Rollins. And then you got to do Punk Cena. So I feel like Punk Cena, I don't know, maybe that'll be SummerSlam. I figured they do Money in the Bank because that pay-per-view had history with those two.
Yeah.
But it's entirely possible that's the SummerSlam match because you got Rollins versus Uso for the world title. I don't know. I mean, there's so many, bigger names out
2
there.
days this year too, so.
The thing that I think is kind of interesting, that will be interesting. You're right, it is. Yeah, it's 2 days. Is Seth Rollins and the way he's being portrayed on Raw as he's running Raw as the big bad now, him getting that title off Jey Uso, it immediately elevates the title and Jey Uso. Last night did such a great job with one promo. Heyman says he wants that because that is the control. He has to have it. He needs it. And that, to me, means so much more for that title and elevating it than if Jey Uso simply was in another segment with Logan Paul. Logan Paul at this point becomes an afterthought.
So much so that his involvement last night was relegated to after the show went off the air.
Yeah. Alexa Bliss Gamer points out they also have history at SummerSlam 2011, which is totally true.
That's true. Elsewhere, Io Sky had a fantastic match with Roxanne Perez.
Dude, Io is killing it.
She is operating at a whole other level right now. She's wildly over.
Super over.
With the fan base. And I think next week she's tagging with Rhea against Roxanne and Julia.
Was that advertised? Okay.
I believe that was announced for next week. And you got to assume at some point that's going to be the story is Rhea Io, whether that's Money in the Bank, whether that's SummerSlam. But gosh, Rhea's great, wildly over as well. But gosh, I want to see Io carry that title for a while because she is just putting on awesome matches. She is incredibly over. She's been a lot of fun as champion. I don't want to see it end anytime soon.
You got the draft coming up because I agree with you. And I think probably sooner than later, you want to put Rhea on SmackDown so her and Bianca can head into 42 over that title there. The draft is going to be interesting, assuming they do one. Has there been reporting on is the draft happening or not? We don't know. Okay.
I'm telling you, they're going to wait till after SmackDown goes back to 2 hours.
Well, again, that could be in 3 weeks. We don't know.
Could be.
If your rumor is to be believed.
That's not a rumor. That's my supposition. They'll wait for the draft for post SmackDown.
Well, I was talking about the alleged Triple H statement about June
check
or
your email,
July.
dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know my password to that.
I know
and
that's
so
not the case. You send me emails from there all the time.
Somebody is apparently. Maybe it's what was it? Email, text your whatever LLC.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I think that that there's a lot of pieces at play. I also want to know what's Roman gonna do at SummerSlam. What's Cody gonna do at SummerSlam? But getting back to the women here. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you put Rhea over on SmackDown for that title. Bianca's over there. They do that stuff. And then you got potentially like a return of Asuka. You got Kairi Sane coming back at some point. You got some NXT call-ups like we've already seen with Roxanne and Julia. There's a lot going on there where Io can obviously continue this awesome run as world champion. And I that's what I want to see as well. You always got that Rhea Ripley thing though, because if she stays on Raw, that title's going to go back to her at some point.
It's just a matter of time, yeah.
And I feel like that would be better served over on the Bianca brand.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be great to see Io carry that title for a while through the rest of 2025. Let's talk about this real quick before we get to the segment by segment breakdown. We had our go home segment for Pat McAfee and Gunther's match at Backlash. No physicality here. Gunther says, I'm saving it for Saturday. Did in any way Pat convince you at all that he had any chance? Any chance at Backlash?
No. I actually really like this segment. I thought that Pat, it was a little long, but I thought that it had kind of like his approach to it. Pat should be a lot more scared, I think. And he's getting hyped up because he's inspired because this is a childhood dream. And in his estimation, this has just become a job to Gunther. But he also, in this impassioned speech of his, seemingly inspired Gunther to lock in and focus. And I thought Gunther's response was really great.
Yeah, his kind of final punctuating line was fantastic. Yeah.
I thought it was really good. My only thing about this was I wish Pat would have sold Gunther's response a little bit more. He did look a bit freaked out. I thought he could have gone a little bit further with it.
Did you want the scared gulp?
Yeah. I want the big, that thing. Or at least a dry swallow,
Yeah.
That thing. But no, I thought it was an effective segment for two guys who, couldn't touch each other. And he says, by my grace, I've decided not to touch you. But yeah, Gunther's locked in. I think it's going to go down the way we thought. I think we're going to get 8 minutes of Pat McAfee hope spots. And then I think Gunther's going to lock in for that last 4 and crush the guy. I think that's how it should go down. I think there's a good chance that's how it will go down.
Yeah,
how do you see this going down?
Yeah, I thought Pat did a very good job of crystallizing what I think they were trying to do with Gunther's story for the last year or so. In a matter of a handful of sentences, and doing it in a far more effective way than they did over the course of the past year actually trying to tell that story.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I thought Gunther's response was awesome. That last line was great. Yeah, I mean, I don't see Pat having much of a chance at making this competitive, much less winning. Ideally, this is 4 minutes. We'd skip the 8 minutes of Pat getting hope spots, and it's just 4 minutes of Gunther beating the hell out of him and winning.
Isn't it a bit more like, don't you want to get the fans' hopes up though? Like I know I see what you're saying, but like let's get the people's hopes up and then crush them. It's more crushing if Gunther's like spending 8 minutes making people believe that Pat has a chance and then just shutting it all down.
Nah, just rip the Band-Aid off, man. No hopes.
No hope. No hope.
You want to book Gunther as basically like a movie villain. No hopes.
Mm-hmm.
Just all hope crushed immediately.
I like the idea of doing this like a Ivan Drago versus Apollo Creed situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that there were kind of like aspects of that in this promo. But yeah, Pat, if Pat comes out here It's going to be interesting to see how Pat is presented at the show.
Yeah.
Is he going to be dancing it up like Apollo Creed? Or is he going to be like, damn it, I kind of stepped in it here, but I got to do what I got to do?
Like, I don't think Pat has any basis to
dance around.
Take Gunther lightly like Apollo did to Ivan Drago. He knows what Gunther can do. He's been sitting there ringside for years watching him.
Well, he also experienced it firsthand.
He did experience it firsthand, too, just a fraction of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, he was there when Gunther busted Jimmy at Uso open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't think Pat's going to be coming to the ring taking Gunther lightly. If anything, that's when we should get the dry swallow in the scared gulp.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He sees Gunther come in the ring and he realizes the gravity of the situation he put himself in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we should get that.
That was a gulp right there?
That was a dry swallow.
That looked like he had anaphylactic. That looked like anaphylactic shock right there.
No, I was gonna say it could have been like a verp. You know, like a
little vomit in the mouth. Okay,
because I'm scared.
Ideally, we'll get that like actual vomit.
Oh, you want projectile vomiting from Pat McAfee?
Yeah, kind of.
Makes his way down the ramp. You realize like he's in deep shit now. Blech.
As soon as Gunther's music hits, they have like a little hose right here.
Yeah, the SNL thing. He's got to wear a long sleeve shirt.
Like Saturday Night Live, and it just goes everywhere. He like points it towards.
Gunther gets in the ring. Blech.
Who's that new ring announcer dude they got? I forget his name.
Oh, I forget his name too.
He points it to him and just drenches him.
Yeah.
That's what they're
like 10 gallons of fake vomit all over a ring announcer, huh?
Ideally, that would be mine. That's how Steve would do it, anyways.
There you go, Mark Nash.
Marvin Nash. Hey, Larson, we got ourselves a sponsor for the show today, so let's talk about them.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, Steve, and while more and more people are realizing the importance of taking care of one's mental health, there's still a lot of progress to be made.
A recent survey found that 26% of Americans have avoided mental health support due to fear of judgment. When people hesitate to get the help they need, it just doesn't affect them. It can also affect their friends, families, and their workplaces.
Yeah, that was definitely the case with me. My battles with severe anxiety in my mid-20s definitely affected my relationships with my family and friends. And thinking back on it now, I was probably slow to get treatment because I was maybe a little embarrassed and was worried about being judged. Eventually, I made the decision to go to therapy, and I'm glad I did, because I was able to learn the skills I needed to cope with my anxiety and got my life in a much healthier and happier place.
With over 10 years experience connecting people with the right therapist from their diverse network of more than 30,000 licensed therapists, BetterHelp makes therapy far more affordable and convenient because it's entirely online, and you can change therapists at any time at no cost.
We're all better with help. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty here. Like we said earlier, Jey Uso opened the show. We had people showing up and whatnot. Otis looked like $1 million with that. He had that like Hawaiian shirt on with the front open,
like 3
beef
buttons
everywhere.
Down open. Yeah,
beef everywhere. So, anyways, he does the yeet thing. Of course, it's 10 minutes before he actually starts talking on the mic. He says, "I'm here. I know Logan Paul's here, so let's stand on business tonight. Oos, where are you at?" But instead of Logan Paul, we get Paul Heyman. He comes out here. He says, "I come out here not to disrespect the world champion, main event Jey Uso, but I dragged myself out here tonight to Omaha, Nebraska, because I wanted to say something straight to the face of the World Heavyweight Champion." That Nebraska crowd was something else. There's a fellow in the crowd with a T-shirt that was pretty interesting.
Oh, I didn't see.
I mean, look, I know the name used to be of this podcast, Going in Raw, but it basically said, in a bit more vulgar language, oral sex cures depression. When I'm watching that on my big ass TV, I catch it. Maybe on your little monitor there.
Oh yeah, because I have my monitor here, and only half of it, so I didn't notice that shirt.
Yeah, it was pretty
interesting.
Funny.
I guess.
Anyways, so it's just interesting to somebody who just wear that out.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jey. So he says, "I want to say something straight to you, Jey." Jey says, "OG, you got a lot of balls. Step in the ring with me after what you did to my family." Oh boy, Paul goes off on that one. He says, you're going to lecture me about betraying our precious tribal chief Roman Reigns? Jay says, I am. Day one, I saw past you. I warned my cousin and CM Punk about you. And Paul says, well, no one bothered to warn me about my best friend, CM Punk. Keep your booze to yourself when I'm talking, because I started to boo him. He says, not one of you had to live what I lived through. My best friend put me in a position that absolutely positively guaranteed I would sabotage a relationship with Roman Reigns. And let's talk about your cousin, Roman Reigns. He says, I had a dream with my best friend, CM Punk, while Roman was still playing high school football, long before he was a wrestler, because I wanted my best friend to overcome all the adversity and be in his corner. What did Roman think I was going to do? Sell his secrets after I built the bloodline for 5 years? He says, I found a stray big dog on the island of irrelevancy, and I turned him into the tribal chief. We were undisputed champion for 1,316 days, and I'm not the one who blew it after being beat by Cody Rhodes and being distracted by Seth at WrestleMania 40. He lost the title. I spent 5 years of my life building him up as champion. Then he disappears. He goes back to being a big dog licking his wounds, leaves me in the hand of Solo, Jacob, the Tongans, almost ending my 40-year career. He didn't come to avenge me. He came back to get his Ulafala back. But I betrayed him? I'm always the liar, the betrayer. I'm always the scumbag. I'm in the right. He just starts screaming, I'm in the right. I'm in the right. I'm in the right. You blame me. Screw you, and screw each of you for booing me. Jay's just sitting there, and he's like, are you okay? As a matter of fact, are you done? As a matter of fact, what does this have to do with me? So Heyman calms down a sec.
Yeah.
He says, I owe you an apology.
Yeah.
He says, it has nothing to do with you. Not that part. I didn't come out here to do that. Here's one thing. But I appreciate this. Stepping back a second. I appreciate that within the context of the grander story, not just he comes out for a promo, he's out there for a reason. And Jay inadvertently kind of goads him into explaining himself for the big turn at WrestleMania. So I thought that was a good organic way to do that.
It was well done.
So Heyman says, I did come out to talk to you, to talk about you, which has everything to do with you. He says, see, you won that title because you want that title, but that title is all about power and control. And honestly, Jay, you don't know how to wield that. You don't understand that leverage. You come out and yeet and put on the best performance. That's what it takes. It's not enough. While you want to be champion, Seth Rollins has to be champion. He has to have that power, that control. Braun Breaker, that was stage one of our plan. Stage two is that title. I'm out here to do you a favor. We all know how those favors work out. I'll have you sign your own death warrant and pick the night when you lose that title, because Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, hereby challenges you for the World Heavyweight Championship. He beat Roman. He beat Punk. He deserves to be number one contender. We know this. The favor is you pick the time and place. Seth will fight for you for that title anytime, any place. Jay says, hold up, OG. He says, Omaha, help me out. Did he just say anytime, any place, anywhere? He says, tonight. So later on, Heyman is in the back. He walks to Seth and Braun. He says he fell for it. He believed me. He wants the match tonight. Seth says, I hate to say this, but if you'll indulge me, I told you so. So he leaves, and Heyman says to Braun, because Braun's like kind of absorbing it all.
And he's like trying to make sense of what is going on.
Right. He says, Roman prepared for Seth at WrestleMania. Seth pinned the biggest star in the main event. CM Punk prepared with unbridled passion, and Seth Rollins only beat him too, but they both lost to Seth Rollins. Jey Uso's a great champion. He tapped out Gunther, and he really places an emphasis on that. Gunther, you know what Gunther can do. He says Jey Uso's not an easy day in the park, but he's not focused on Seth. He's focused on Logan, and he has no time to prep for Seth Rollins. All he needs to focus on is Jey Uso, because there's no one left. Seth is a sniper, and he has Jey in his sights. Braun, tonight we get handed the keys to the kingdom when the referee hands the title to Seth Rollins. So he explains it, not just to Braun, but to us, that Jey isn't focused on Seth, and Seth is locked in on Jey. And that's the point of it. That's why he's got the advantage tonight. And in fact, he had the advantage, because by the end of the night, it looked like Seth was going to win this. But instead, rib tape Sami Zayn shows up to wonk the finish.
Yeah, it was a really good match. Pay-per-view quality match here between Seth and Jey. So towards the end here, Seth hits a stomp, but Jey kicks out. Everybody's shocked. So he goes to the corner. He talks to Braun and Heyman. Then Sami Zayn's music hits. So Braun goes to see where Sami's coming from, up by the ramp. Sami jumps off the barricade. He came in through the crowd, takes out Braun, throws him at the ring post. Jey hits Seth with a super kick and a spear. follows with a splash, gets a 2 count there. So Sammy is firing up Jay. He turns around, gets speared by Braun. So Jay goes to check on Sammy. Heyman's distracting the ref. Braun spears Jay, puts him in the ring, and Seth hits a stomp. Punk's music hits. He runs the ring with a chair, throws it in Braun's face, hits Seth with it. Match gets thrown out. And Punk is just beating the heck out of Seth with the chair, and then heads up the ramp with Sammy and Jay and Punk stand tall. Sorry, Seth and crew go up to the top of the ramp. And then Braun's up there and he rips off his shirt.
Is there something in the near term where you've got Jay, Punk, and Sammy, that's 3 men, in a match
Braun,
against
Seth, and Paul Heyman? No?
Hey, Paul Heyman, hey, he's been in a match before. Him and
Ryback versus
CM Punk. Yeah, yes. Hell in a Cell.
So you're asking who's Seth's third man brother?
Who's the third man brother, if there is one? Or are they just, I mean, you do Sammy and Punk versus those 2 guys.
It really should be Nathan Frazier. Gosh darn it. Nathan Frazier should join.
Boy, that would have been a great story. I hate that we think about that because that could have been a great story.
I know.
Clown says Jeff Cobb. But you got to ask why. Is it just like, hey, we're bringing in a big dude and people are going to be impressed by big dude because Jeff Cobb is impressive?
Mm-hmm.
Be pretty awesome. Is there anybody that makes sense that's out there besides Ryback?
I'm trying to think of someone else that might have history with Seth and or Paul Heyman. And the only name that pops in my head is Austin Theory.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it might be the end of him and Waller last night because of the Sheamus thing. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, that's pretty funny when Austin Theory, when he's getting beat up by Sheamus, he yells at Waller, "Why did you do this to me?"
Yeah. They need to pull the trigger on that.
Oh, they should have done that months ago. But
ages ago. But yeah, no, I think Austin Theory would be great. I still think that dude's got a lot to offer. And honestly, like Waller too, on his own, I think has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
This just as a tag team, they just got nothing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Axel. There you go. Yeah. The returning Claudio. Or Cesaro. Cesaro.
Why not Dean Ambrose at this point?
Yeah, there you go. Like a recasted Dean Ambrose.
And then you could really name the faction Seth Riders.
Then it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You want fake Dean Ambrose. Who in NXT could portray fake Dean Ambrose?
Or
LFG. You watch LFG. Is there someone on LFG that can be the new Dean Ambrose?
Evander Holyfield's kid is there.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. That dude's a badass. He's got a great look to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the BJ guy.
I don't know who that
is. BJ Ray. He's like the token really annoying guy that is on Bubba's team and Bubba hates him. And it's always like there's always these, but it's the most staged thing possible.
All right.
Yeah, Timothy Thatcher.
All right.
Oh yeah, Mr. Goaty says Logan Paul could be the third man brother.
Oh no.
Well, I don't think it could be like a one night thing. Just from a storyline perspective, it kind of makes some sense.
I guess.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I could see that.
Don't want to see it. We mentioned EO had a match against Roxanne Perez, and this is fantastic. Fantastic match.
This match was awesome.
It was so good.
Gosh darn it.
And so the finish saw a bunch of roll-ups. They're exchanging roll-ups. Bang, 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 bang. And eventually EO gets the one that gets the win. After the match, they shake hands. And Roxanne leaves the ring. And then Julia attacks EO from behind. Roxanne gets back in to join in on the attack. And so they just lay out EO, which I guess is leading to the tag match we're getting next week.
I guess a hell of a Raw next week. I didn't see that one, but we also got former Bullet Club leaders, AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. It's going on next week. That's cool. I'm surprised. You know what's sad, dude? It's been so long since we've had a comment or a question that says, should they reform the Bullet Club in WWE?
I know.
We used to get that all the time.
I know.
Yeah. A lot. We have some super chats here. Akon says, do you see Goldberg appearing here for Gunther versus Pat?
There's been a lot of conversation online to that effect, but I mean, they haven't hinted at anything. I mean, I think you said yesterday that if Goldberg appears on Pat McAfee show over the next week or during the course of this next week, there's a chance it could happen. But outside of that, I'd be surprised.
Let me ask you this. Time to put on our conspiracy theory hats.
All right.
When you say there's been conversation of that, is it possible that there's like some WWE burners out there that are offering up that conversation, getting it into the algorithm so that it's something that is sort of like out there and then it happens?
I mean, I guess it's possible. I don't know if WWE has a whole sub-department in their social media department to kind of get that stuff out there.
In your mind, is that department like in a really dark, dank room? Like, and it's like a bunch of just dorks at computers?
Well,
old school looking computers.
It's like the basement of the new WWE headquarters.
It's a wall of cell phones, and they're all just. It's like Colin Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And they're coming up with like AI memes of like Tony Khan and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's like the WWE troll farm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a troll farm, and they're like, no, Alberto's great. It's all good.
Oh my
god. We also have a super chat here from Mr. Goatee Anime Covers. Says third man can be Logan Paul, and I don't hate it. And then also, of course, dude, we're in the month of May now. Right? I think.
Yeah, it's May.
Right?
It's May 6th.
Yeah, so it's time for the May Predictions Challenge. Of course, we're coming off the biggest predictions challenge ever. So appropriately, this is going to be smaller than that. You know, it's Backlash predictions, but we got Backlash Saturday night's main event, and of course, Double or Nothing. So if you didn't win the big WrestleMania Predictions Challenge, hey, guess what? You can win the May Predictions Challenge, and we've got some special stuff on the line. I was trying today to find like a font for the hat that's going to be offered up this month. I want to make it like a Randy Orton themed hat, but like I'm having a hard time finding a decent tribal font or something that mimics his, like the RKO logo on his trunks.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do my damnedest. I'm going to work on that today. And then Larson, I think you still have over there.
Of course I do.
This is a real piece of Steven Larson memorabilia. It's the very first shirt that we ever made. It's screen printed, so it's actually quality. And this dates back to like 2011.
Correct.
The first time we went to E3, we had these shirts whipped up just like for us. We didn't even sell them.
Yeah.
And we just roamed around the E3 floor doing interviews and shit with these shirts on. But they're really sharp. I designed it. It looks great. It's hot pink. And it looks like a zine that says Friendo.
It does.
This one-of-a-kind item. I have no idea whatever happened to mine. I'm assuming you still have yours? You still have yours?
That's the only one I have. That's
the only one. It's an extra large.
Yeah.
So, if you're like extra large and smaller, then you can, either wear it to bed or wear it out. If you're larger than an XL, maybe it's a motivation shirt, drop some LBs. If you're like way bigger than XL, then you can just frame it or something.
Yeah,
put it on eBay.
It's a cool piece of memorabilia. One of a kind. It's a Gildan heavy cotton tee. It's been sitting in my dresser here for a while. So.
If you're in a really hot environment, you're probably not going to want to really wear that out during the day.
Well, we survived E3 wearing those shirts.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like if you're play like in the summertime, it's like 106.
Yeah.
E3 was air conditioned too.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people there, so it's still warm.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
A lot of people there.
So anyways, the May Prediction Challenge, you can get in on it by clicking join right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or going to patreon.com/Steven Larson, clicking on the Friendo Club setup. Either way you do it, it's $5 a month. You get also access to our old bonus episodes and access to the question threads here on the show. We also had Lyra Valkyria with some, and I know WrestleMania, there's a lot of suspect go-home math there. But in this case, Lyra was able to hit her finish on Becky Lynch on the tail end of their promo, which I thought the promo stuff was actually really good this week.
It was. It's 2 weeks in a row that they've had some good promo back and forth.
Absolutely. Oh, Clown says we need to autograph it. We'll leave that up to the person who wins it.
Yeah.
If they want us to autograph it.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
We could definitely do that.
Whoever wins it wants it that way, for sure.
Becky Lynch said that Lyra is garbage.
Yeah, but She prefaced that by saying that Bailey is garbage, and
Bailey, yeah.
And the way she delivered that actually made me laugh.
Yes, yeah.
He says, a woman cried tears of joy. No one asked or cared where Bailey was. She's garbage. She says, she's garbage, and I took out the garbage. And then she says that Lyra is recycling.
That's right. She says, which is garbage, but nicer garbage. That actually probably, I thought she was going to be like, oh, she's like a recycled Becky Lynch. But no, she said she's garbage, just nicer garbage.
No, less authentic.
She's less authentic garbage. Thank you. Yeah.
It pretty much says, if it wasn't for me, Lyra wouldn't be here. She'd have no dream, wouldn't make history. She says she doesn't have a fiance if it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And yet all I get is disrespect. So that brings Lyra out. She's like, did you just actually call me recycling? She says, that's, Becky, that's what you do. You're the same, have the same old moves, same tired act. Says, but I don't care. You're acting like you had anything to do with my success. No, let me drill it into you. You didn't make me. You went on holiday and everyone here got better. You went on vacation and I made history. But you're what the belt needs. I've defended it more than you showed up to work this year. I see it now. I see it clearly. You shattered glass ceilings for women, but left the broken glass on the ground, and we were supposed to follow because you had no intention of bringing anyone to the top with you. And Becky says, everyone had their best year because they had no one else to compare themselves to. I don't help people. I don't like helping people. I beat people. I'm the greatest to ever do it. Sports Illustrated says I'm the greatest. Doesn't matter how good you are. You're only the moment after the moment. And Lyra says, oh, keep listing your achievements. I'll help you. First SmackDown Women's Champion, first woman to main event WrestleMania and win, first ever Intercontinental Champion. Oh, wait, that was me. You hate it, don't you? Hate this is my first ever. Well, get used to it. As long as I'm here, I hope you like being at second place. It's a good line. So then Becky looks for a cheap shot. Lyra ducks. They start brawling. It spills to the floor and eventually ends up back in the ring where Becky's looking for a manhandle slam and Lyra reverses that and hits Nightwing.
This was a perfectly constructed promo between two people because there were just so many good lines. There were so many good punctuations that then the crowd be like, oh, shit, that was a good line. There was setup and payoff throughout the entire thing. And so many promos, dude. You know this, especially on SmackDown. So many promos.
It's just meanders.
It's just meanders. Just meanders. It's just endless, just talking without a point to it. So this was really good. Lyra hitting that Nightwing certainly dooms her chances.
Well, in the traditional,
keeping that Intercontinental
Championship. Go home math sense, yeah, it would. As we saw with WrestleMania, Triple H does not seem opposed to, going against the tropes of go home math. That being said, going into this, Bailey was my pick, and nothing I saw here. Becky's going to cheat to win.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be a protected loss for Lyra.
Yeah.
And then Lyra will eventually get it back.
Yeah. So, didn't Jacob Fatu stand tall on the SmackDown before? I'm looking at the Mania card right now.
I don't remember, but the story just made sense for him to win. Sort of like the story makes sense for Becky to win.
No, I'm just looking at the go home here.
Yeah.
At the math. I want to take a look at WrestleMania. And
but didn't El Grande Americano stand tall? His segment going into Mania.
Wasn't there? That's what we thought, but then there was like one more on SmackDown or something.
Oh.
There was the WrestleMania SmackDown. I think the WrestleMania SmackDown when like Phoenix stood tall or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, Phoenix and them won that match.
Yeah.
That's
right.
So yeah, we'll have to run that back. Get the math on that. Anyways, we also had, of course, as we talked about, the Gunther Pat McAfee build to Backlash. This was an in-ring face-off, no physicality. Pat gets into the ring first. Gunther makes his entrance. Pierce implores them to keep it professional. And Pat says, Gunther starts off by saying, first of all, don't worry. I won't do anything tonight and spoil it for myself. Lucky for you, unlike you and your friend out here, I am a professional. And Pat has a really, really long promo here, which I won't say verbatim, but he talks about the sacrifices that Michael Cole has made. He says for 28 years, every week of his life, except 3 times, he dedicated to traveling the world for this company. 52 weeks a year for this company. He says he has earned the right to have an opinion, and since it pissed you off so bad you had to attack a 60-year-old man, he says, let me give you an opinion of the Gunther in front of me. He says, he puts over Omaha. He says, even though I'm from Pittsburgh, you're from Vienna, we both grew up with the same dreams, wanting to be in this business, idolizing our heroes, thinking this is what we were meant to do. Your problem with your dreams, you've been at this 20 years, a champion 80% of the time you've been here. You got jaded. This isn't a dream for you. It's just a job. Every time I come in here, I get jacked up. He says, 12-year-old me, the kids out there in the upper deck dreaming I can get in the ring and let assholes like you know I don't like what you're about. What you're about now, instead of waltering around the stage, you don't want it anymore. You got too comfortable. This version of Gunther is soft. So Gunther absorbs all that, brings up the mic. He says, did you enjoy your daughter's birthday last week? What is she, 2 years old? That's cute. I bet it was a special day for you. For me, Saturday is a special day, and you just got me into the right mood for it. It's my first match since WrestleMania, and I'm going to show up prepared, more focused than ever before. Don't think I'll overlook you. I will promise you my full and undivided attention. On Saturday, that bell is going to ring, and I'm going to beat you up, maul you, grab you by the head, and drive you into the mat, and choke you out, and drop you like a wet towel. Tonight, by my grace, you are untouchable, but on Saturday, only the grace of God can lift my arms off your throat. Killer response from Gunther. I thought both guys did really, really well here. And yeah, I don't know how this is going to go down, but I think, if they give Pat plenty of hope spots, you get that crowd up just to crush him.
Yeah, that's probably how it's going to go. I say just crush all hope immediately. Penta getting an Intercontinental title shot at Backlash. Guessing he hopes that he wins that. Mm-hmm. So we had a singles match between Penta and JD McDonough where Penta got the win via Destroyer. Fun bout. Chad Gable tries to interfere when Penta goes up top. Penta kind of takes him out and then hits the Destroyer to get the win. Afterwards, JD's upset as Penta celebrates, and then we're backstage, and JD is giving the rest of Judgment Day some crap about not helping him during his match. So then AJ Styles steps in and says, hey, came here just for a friendly visit. It is a warning, though. I don't care who wins, whether it's Penta or Dom. I'm coming for the Intercontinental title. So Dom says, I knew being a champion was hard, but not this hard. My hands are full. But Finn, you have history with AJ. Why don't you take care of him? And Finn, at first, he's all upset about that. Oh, now I clean up your mess, huh? Ah, no problem. I got your back, buddy.
Yeah, so AJ, they really should have done a pre-tape here.
Yeah.
AJ, I can appreciate the guy recovered. It's AJ Styles. Nobody cares. But yeah, this dude was stumbling all over the place.
Yeah, he had to repeat himself a couple times.
I want that the Intercontinental title. I'm so flustered now because, I'm just an old man, right?
So later on, New Day walks up to Gable, who's upset about the Penta match. And New Day says, that was awful, and we think you and American Made deserve respect. You see the War Raiders asking about a title shot. No, opportunities need to come back to American Made.
So is this a way to get the New Day and the Lucha Bros, sort of the long road to get the New Day and the Lucha Bros in there together?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's going to have a wonky ass. They're not going to have Penta job out cleanly.
You wouldn't think so.
He's going to.
They're not going to have Dom drop the Intercontinental title this soon. You would think.
No way.
Rusev in action against Otis. Predictably, even though Otis dropped Rusev on the announce table with a suplex, a T-bone suplex, and Rusev just basically got right back up. Rusev hits Otis with a Mashka kick, locks on the Accolade to get the win, so Tozawa comes down to pick a fight with Rusev, and he just ends up destroying him and then destroys Otis some more and then puts the Accolade back on Otis.
Yeah, how'd you like this first match back for Rusev? Is this the story you would have told with him, or do you think he should have been more immediately dominating here?
I mean, this wasn't a terribly long match.
No, it wasn't.
The only thing about this match, it's not like he was talking crap to Otis, because the idea of Rusev's return to WWE is, first time I was here, I didn't exactly live to my potential. Now I feel like I have, or I am, and now my mission is to make sure everybody else who hasn't lived to potential will do so. And that wasn't really explored much at this particular bout.
Yeah,
that's what I thought was missing more than anything else.
So it looks like AJ Styles got his Twitter account back. It had been hacked. He posted up a video on Instagram. Somebody hacked they got my SIM. I think they got my SIM. Somebody, I don't know, some jackass got my phone. And it's not on Twitter. It's because somebody was on there being like, I can't wait for my match against, I don't know, whoever. Be sure to buy my crypto.
You're like, AJ, why are you trying to do a pump and dump scheme here?
AJ's doing a pump and dump, man. Styles coin.
Phenomenal coin.
Phenomenal coin.
We alluded to it earlier. A-Town down. Are they breaking up finally after months and months
and
months
this
of
is the most Charlie Brown in that football thing.
You got that right. So we're backstage, and Waller is with Pierce. And Theory walks in. And Waller's like, last week, that was selfish of me, trying to get a singles match. I think you should have the singles match tonight. And Theory's like, heck yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. And Waller says, see, I'm a good partner. And Pierce, because he knows who the opponent is, says, oh, you're a good partner. All right, then I guess Austin Theory is official. You have a singles match. And Theory's like, well, who's it against? And Waller's all, it's got to wait and find out.
Be it better as a surprise. I'm like, in what world is that true? Just tell me.
I know.
Turns out Sheamus. The returning Sheamus.
And Sheamus kicks the shit out of Austin Theory so bad. I love it. I mentioned it earlier. Austin Theory looks to Waller in between like being stomped by Sheamus. Why'd you do this to me?
Oh, it's good to have Sheamus back. I love that on his trunks. He has a little WWE sign. He's got a little WWE logo.
Yeah.
He is Network.
Yeah, he is branded as WWE Network, seemingly.
Maybe he got the IP because it's not a thing anymore.
That could be. Sheamus got the win here. Bro kick. Yeah, it's good to have Sheamus back. He puts on good matches.
This would be great. Gia Thirds here in the YouTube chat says, could be getting Otis and his crew to live up to their potential. What if Rusev starts up instead of like, was it Alpha Academy? American? Yeah, Alpha Academy. It's Machka Academy.
Hey, there you go.
He's like, I'm going to start teaching classes now. Hey, buddy.
I'd be about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That sounds cheesy as hell.
About Rusev U. Like, Chase U works so well in NXT. Let's bring that to the main roster.
Yeah,
call him Chase U.
Yeah.
No, just the idea.
Yeah. Rusev U. Anyways. Would you like to answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions.
All right, let's answer some questions. Let's see here. This is the time on every show when I start to load up the questions after I've already asked. Would you like to answer some questions?
Colby Cole here says, if you were a Starfleet captain with 3 superstars, that would be your crew. What 3 Star Trek characters would be? Oh, sorry. You're a captain. You get 3 wrestlers and 3 Star Trek characters to be your crew.
Oh, this is so confusing immediately, dude. All right. Look, man, I know like moving across franchises is probably what you want to do, but just give me that threesome of Data, Geordi, and Worf. That's tactical, ops, and engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I want those 3 guys. They got great chemistry. So that's my 3 dudes doing that. And then for WWE wrestlers, you need those red shirts that can go down to a planet and get incinerated. So give me Maxine, Tozawa, and Otis.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
What about your first? Who's your first officer?
That's you.
All right.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm keeping Worf 1,000%.
Worf might be the best character in Star Trek history.
Without a
doubt.
Yeah. In engineering, give me Axiom.
Is he still he doesn't do the numbers thing anymore?
But he did. Let's see. Science officer. Who should be my science officer?
I mean, if you've ever heard Bo Dallas talk about.
Not at all. Absolutely not. No.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have
Nathan. What about Cross?
I'm gonna have Nathan Frazier since he's really fast. He's the one that drives the ship.
Okay.
He's fast.
He is fast.
He's super fast.
He doesn't. It's not like the ship's speed isn't based on somebody's physical speed, though.
I know, but what I think is this fast.
Okay.
I think Nathan Frazier. If I say like warp drive now, engage.
Oh, there you go. No, AJ Styles because of the flat Earth thing.
Absolutely.
I just got questions.
I'll have Daniel Bryan as my science officer.
Oh, that's good.
That's my 3 wrestlers.
Okay. Who's your first officer?
Oh, it's Riker. If we're casting, because I still need my 3 people. Otherwise, it's you, of course. We'll be each other's.
Otherwise, it's either Riker or me. I'm glad to see I'm in good company there. All right, Ignacio here says, "What's a better fun movie?" What? What? This is a wild question. He says, "What's a better fun movie in your opinion?" I don't know if this is a trick question or not, because one of these clearly is a really fun movie and one is not. They're both Scorsese movies, though.
All right.
What's a better fun movie, Taxi Driver or Goodfellas?
Taxi Driver is not a fun movie.
That is a grim movie right there. Goodfellas is a wildly fun movie.
Yeah. The energy of Goodfellas is something else. It's next level.
Yeah.
Jonah here asks, what's your least favorite grunge band and what's one song they did that you actually enjoy?
Oh, wow. Oh, geez. My least favorite. What was Pearl Jam before their lead died? Was it
Mother Love Bone?
Mother Love Bone. Except I don't know if they have a song that I like.
You don't like the one on the single soundtrack? Crown of Thorns?
I mean, I guess it's okay. So, I don't know. I guess that's my answer. Grunge band that I don't like.
Well, I mean, most of the grunge bands I don't like their songs.
Yeah, right. Like in
so
total.
It's hard for me to say. We'd have to do grunge adjacent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not huge into Smashing Pumpkins, but I like a couple of their songs.
Yeah, they had some good stuff.
As a whole, I don't really listen to them at all.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm looking at like the Google search results for grunge bands, and I'm like, the majority of these aren't actually grunge bands.
No.
Anyways, let's see here. Oh, wow, this is an interesting question. Blake Whitehouse says, with Seth's group being a modern version of Evolution, who do you see being the Mark Jindrak of the group? Wow. So somebody they were gonna put in, and then got booted for somebody else.
Maybe that's gonna end up being Nathan Frazier. Maybe they thought Nathan Frazier should be in there. Be like, nah, we want to bring Fraxium over to SmackDown.
I love that they filmed a vignette with Jindrak. It's like the footage of Back to the Future with Eric Stoltz.
Yeah. They shot a good chunk of that movie with Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, they did. They did 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I just found that out on the Back to the Future Destination Hill Valley ride.
Yeah.
They did, dude. They did. So, how at Universal, they always have a little plot for whatever ride you're doing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, on the tram there to the Universal backlot with the Hill Valley, they had a bunch of little screens, little TVs, and they did this thing with Doc Brown.
Mm-hmm.
They got a dude who barely can pull off Doc Brown. They did not get Christopher Lloyd. Some other guy is doing them.
I'm trying to remember when they had the Back to the Future ride there, which is now the Simpsons.
Oh,
ride.
It was them. That's
what I thought. Yeah.
It was actually him. This was completely different. Yeah. No, they had him. They had Thomas Wilson as
Biff. They had Biff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Andre Zimpel says, with Pop retiring as head coach for the Spurs, would you guys consider him the GOAT for NBA head coaches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pop's great.
Above Phil, above Red Auerbach. Yeah. Oh yeah. Pop's great. Oh my God, he's great. Yeah. I'm glad that he's sticking around. I saw the little press conference where it was announced, and Boy, that stroke really got him.
Yeah,
you know?
It did. It's a bummer.
It's really sad to see.
It's really sad.
You know. But he seems, I mean, if there, I don't know to what degree that he's going to be active as president of operations.
Mm-hmm.
But if, oftentimes from what I understand with the stroke, it's more like learning how to, like the brain is fine. Or I'm sorry, your thoughts are fine, but it's like learning how to talk right and move right.
Yeah.
So, boy, what a mind. What an absolute mind.
Yeah.
Total legend.
Absolutely. Yeah, Pop's great. Josh M. here says, can we agree that Road Dogg's writing on SmackDown sucks ass?
Man, it is just so lethargic.
Yeah, there's no energy to it.
It's just a lethargic show.
It really is. Nate Cruz asks, is Io the best baby face on the entire roster right now?
Yes.
Yeah, you could absolutely make that case.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she's on a whole other level right now. She is awesome. Over here in the Twitch chat, JOD with the sub says, another Star Trek question. What's your best and worst Star Trek intro theme? Not including Enterprise. No acoustic Star Trek numbers for worst themes, Steve.
Boy, I like that Enterprise one.
Or best.
I mean, there isn't a bad one. They're all pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that because Next Generation just ripped theirs off from the original motion picture, that's like the least original one.
Yeah, it doesn't make it bad by any stretch.
No, it's really good. It's probably the best one. But it's not. It wasn't made for the show.
Yeah.
It was a pre-existing theme. I mean, Voyager's might be a bit on the meandering side.
All right.
But it's still good.
Oh, Shane's birthday tweet here with the subs. His thoughts on the new spin on Penta's theme. So apparently they re-recorded it with Tool's Adam Jones on guitar, which is awesome.
Which is great, yeah.
Yeah.
Do more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't notice a huge difference.
But had a little more pep in its step.
It did. It obviously sounded different. But...
Mm-hmm. Carlos Diaz says, after that horrendous fake tan, what's the next thing Paul Heyman will do to blend in with the young, good-looking people he manages? Jays. Some Jordans.
Oh, some Jordans?
Yeah.
There you go.
Everybody likes the Jordans.
Yeah, get some Jordan 1s. Diehard Homer says, which modern movie character should help a wrestler today, a la RoboCop and Sting?
A modern movie character. How about... Dude, have you seen The Lighthouse?
Mm-hmm.
With Willem Dafoe's character from Lighthouse.
All right.
Helps. Oh, man. Who should he help, though? He helps, Rusev eventually becomes like a good guy, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just so awesome he becomes a good guy. So they do something where the odds are stacked against Rusev. So Willem Dafoe's Lighthouse character shows up, helps him out, and then makes him some cooking. And Rusev doesn't like it. He's like, oh, this is terrible. And he says, you don't like me cooking.
You don't like my lobster. Yeah.
You don't like me lobster. Willem Dafoe's so great.
All right. I'm trying to think of someone that'd be good to help out Hank Tank.
Seth Rogen. Or
but
Jason
which
Segel.
Character?
Oh, yeah, it's a character.
It's a character.
Yeah. I don't know. He's played the same character for 15 years.
Yeah.
The guy from Pineapple Express. Ooh.
What about the Minotaur from Pineapple Express?
Wait, what the Minotaur? Wasn't that from the fairy tale one?
Oh, Your Highness, you're right.
Your
Highness.
Minotaur
from Your Highness. Sorry.
I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. No, yeah, the Minotaur from Your Highness.
Stoneway says, I'm something of a wrestler myself. Willem Dafoe to Rusev. That's good. Oh, man. Anyways, that's all the questions I got over here.
Oh, okay. I got a couple more here.
Yeah, go ahead. Have at it.
Let's see.
I do have more questions, but they're just my brain can't handle it right now.
All right. Oh, this is a good one. Creamy Beef Tip says, which current WWE wrestler would win against their AEW counterpart, for example, would Alistair defeat Malachi?
Yes. Oh my God, yeah. Alistair would kill that guy.
Yeah.
He's like, why are you so slow?
Yeah, I can't think of any offhand.
Ricky Starks would destroy Ricky Saints.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, Cody would annihilate Cody Rhodes from,
Yeah, I'm trying to think for the most part, the WWE wrestler would beat the AEW wrestler.
They would. The Redeemer might have a chance against Rusev. Rusev was struggling a little bit against Otis for a spell yesterday.
Yeah.
I think the Redeemer beats Rusev so far.
So far, but it's one match, so.
NXT Adam Cole would clear AEW Adam Cole.
Yeah. Like NXT Ethan Page would beat AEW Ethan Page.
I mean, AEW MJF would beat Security Guard MJF.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Luis here says, we end on this one. What's been some sneaky good world title TV matches? Because the match last night was very good.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
Put you on the spot.
Hogan versus Goldberg.
Oh. I mean, that was a huge match.
Mm-hmm, yeah. That was big. It wasn't sneaky good. Wasn't even good, I don't think.
No, it wasn't good. It was huge, though, because it was
big,
Georgia
big
Dome
deal.
with 60,000 people there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's been good matches out there.
Oh,
sneaky
didn't
good.
Punk and Daniel Bryan have a champion versus champion match? I don't think it was for either title, but
that was probably good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I don't know. My memory's crap. Don't ask us memory questions.
Roman and Rey Mysterio in Hell in a Cell when they decided to pull that match off the pay-per-view and have it on SmackDown.
Yeah. Didn't they do Roman versus Rey? That was supposed to be a...
That's why I said Roman versus Rey in Hell in a Cell. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy. Yeah, that was silly. Anyways. That is going to do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh, wait a second. Shit, hold on. We had a member here. Javier, membered up for 23 months now. Says, Steve, how was the Universal event? So I did talk about it, I think, on the show yesterday, so I don't want to reiterate a bunch of stuff. But in short, it was awesome. I got to be on the set of the Enterprise D that they used for the Picard show. So it was awesome to see the scale and to see, the carpet. It was pretty great. Yeah, I had a blast. Me and Jeff, we went through twice. It was pretty great. Also, Skylar King here with a super chat says, thinking of Willem Dafoe and Lighthouse first is why I sub. Oh, you don't like me, lobster. That's going to do it for the show. Until next time, we'll see you guys around.